Hi everyone, it's Chelle from Chelle Crochet. Welcome to my February 2024 crochet podcast. Let's talk some crochet. Hi everyone, it's Chelle. How are you today? I hope you're all doing well. It's leap day. We have an extra day in February this month, which I desperately needed. Maybe with some luck, I can get this video out and posted today, February 29th. I hope so. I have some clips. I don't even remember them because it's been so long since I took them, and I'll insert them wherever they're most applicable. But we're gonna go through what I've been able to make in the month of February.
In all fairness, February was February birthdays month, so there was a lot going on in February, including hubby's 50th birthday. We have 5 family birthdays in the month of February and a bunch of other significant celebrations as well. So the month was a bit of a blur, and that's why I'm all over the place. Hopefully you guys can relate and forgive me.
I will definitely be drawing your attention to my previous video, which was sort of a second part to my experience working with Red Heart All-in-One Granny Square yarn for the first time. So we might as well start there. I have my first finished object using the Granny Square yarn, and I use the colorway Hot Stuff. There are, I want to say, 17 squares of the Hot Stuff colorway in this blanket. There is 10 in this Caron 1 pound purpley color, very similar to this shade here, complementary. And then there are 4 in white and 4 in this claret burgundy tone. And it's very funny how to put my hand in the right place while looking at the camera. And then I use this coral color, also a Caron 1 pound. To brighten it up, I was thinking tween girl when I made this blanket for Project Linus. So I will put some better pictures of the blanket on the screen for you, or I have already been doing so. So you get the idea. It is 7 by 5. It measures roughly 40 inches by about 65, 70 inches. So that was fun. I enjoyed doing it, and there's much more information about that project in my vlog that I posted about 2 weeks ago. It's linked in the description box below. If you have any questions, let me know. So off and on throughout the month of February, when I don't know what to do, I make granny squares. This one is called Citrus Twist, I believe. And there's another one. And this one is called the colorway Frigid for the Red Heart All-in-One Granny Square yarn. There is a couple of on-the-go skeins on my cart for when I just don't know what to crochet and I don't feel like crocheting anymore on a certain whip or whatever, but I'm not done crocheting. I don't have to think, I just grab what's there and I get some squares done for later projects. I am in the infancy stage of working on designing a bag, and when I have that done, I will make the bag. Other squares. I have my box here that's holding the yarn I'm using for Jada and Stitch's 2024 calendar blanket. My granny's cupboard, my secret granny's cupboard, something about granny's cupboard and magical granny's cupboard. Is that it? So we had the January square, which was stacked shells, showed last month. And the February stitch is double crochets and V stitches. So not blocked, but not bad for not blocked. I'm using a 7mm hook, and I'm adding a single crochet border to all my squares. And on a hunt for blocking boards to keep some of these squares looking great throughout the year. But I don't want to pay what the prices are on Amazon, so I'm gonna see if hubby can craft me up one somehow. Anyway, February's was fun, so I am pretty much letting the yarn come out of the skein on these, which is a cake because it's Caron Big Cakes. Colorway is Blue Hawaiian, and yeah, so it's already gonna be, today's Thursday, so tomorrow will be March the 1st. It's also Friday, which means we get a new square tomorrow for this calendar blanket. I like that it's pushing me out of my comfort zone. And I just kind of have to be willing to let the squares do a little bit of what they do because they're not exactly the regular style ones. I'm enjoying the learning that's part of the process of working through this new cowl.
Hey everyone, I'm back in the car today. Hubby just went in to get his health card and license renewed. It hits like every 5 years, or I guess you need a new picture or something, so you have to go in person. His birthday is coming up on the weekend. He's turning the big 50. So there's been a lot of birthday celebrations already, and there will be some more, I'm sure. This is where I started at today, so there was a little progress since the last time. And basically I have been working on a few sets, a few just solo hats, so that some of the individual neck warmers or scarves I've made already will have a partner, so I can send them off to Shoebox Charity as a set. And 2 blankets this month. The first one's done, and anybody who saw my second part of my vlog about the Red Heart All-in-One Granny Square will have seen that blanket, and I will also show it in person. Oh, playing with this unforgettable yarn, it's hurting my feelings a little. Okay, so that was that blanket. The second blanket I'm working on, which you'll also see, I don't know if it's going to be done. Today is Wednesday. Is today Wednesday? Yeah, today's Wednesday, February the 21st. I don't know how far it's going to get. I am probably at halfway. I've already started reducing to make it a rectangular C2C blanket. It will be for 18 for Project Linus. I know something I can talk about right now that would be interesting for you all who like to track stuff. So my journal that I made is working well. Yeah, so I'm tracking yarn usage, and what I realized last time, I'm going to use my stitch marker there so I know what I'm doing. I'm doing one of those join in the corner with a half double, and I forgot what I was doing because I haven't worked on this in a while. I realized that if I don't track the yarn that I'm bringing in as well as the yarn that's going out, then it's kind of like a misnomer, if you will. Like you know, if I end up buying just as much yarn as I use this year, it's no wonder that I'm not accomplishing my goals of getting some yarn used up. I mean, I am accomplishing goals of using certain yarns out of my stash that I really want to not have as part of my collection going forward. I added that section so that I can see what's coming in as well as what's going out. And the finished objects section is good for me too, because it gives me something to look back on, and it will also remind me to make sure I don't forget any items that I want to be given to charity. So yeah, it's my journal is working out very well for me so far, and I think I'll be able to use it for 2-3 years because there's a lot of paper in that book, and it's a nice solid book. So I'll be happy to do that. The craft carts were on sale at Michael's, so I got a bigger one, and the smaller one I'm going to use in my yarn rooms. I do actually work out of my yarn room. It has my office, my desk, and everything in there for work. So I am going to move the smaller original cart I got way back when they had some on clearance for like $20 2-3 years ago. I'll move that one in there, which will be very handy. And then the bigger one is going to be out on the couch where you see me record, is where I spend the most of my time crocheting. So yeah, I was happy to get that and set that up, and so far my new setup on that is working well. I'll see if I pop a picture in at the end of the video of how the new cart has turned out. It's nice to have the extra space, the extra shelf. Anyway, I will let you guys go. I just thought I'd pop in and say hey and work on a round or so of this granny square while I'm waiting for hubby, and get thinking about what's going to be in this month's full video, which I'll be recording in a few days. Back to a regularly scheduled programming. Bye everyone. Hey everyone. So I have this these 2 plastic cello bags taped together, and they're overlapped by about an inch or so because how they fit as my bottom layer here. Previous to that I had a baggie, but we're going to try it this way this time. It's nice and flat. On my old cart I had this just sitting where my drinks sat. I'm going to take it back to my old cart. So this is the latest little insert I made out of handicrafter cotton. Just single crochet, nice and flat all the way around so that it fits in there on top of the plastic bags. And that way, when something does spill, because trust me, it'll spill,
And I know I'm a risk taker by having drinks in there, but that's how I like it. Easy for me to reach from my crochet spot. I can just take that out, throw it in the laundry, and put it back after. So I'm going to continue to rejig this shelf. This is about my third try, but that's what it takes sometimes when you're getting a new cart that you want to use every day and have everything where you want it. You play around with it. I'm pretty happy with the other 3 shelves. It's just this one. And because I'm adjusting this one, the bottom one is going to get a bit of an adjustment, but the stuff that I need the least amount of time needs to be down there at the bottom. All right, I'll be back. Alrighty. I have rejigged my everything tray. And I put my books and my beads and my buttons down there. And I got a little section for my makeup. So this is pretty much all good to go. And we'll see how it is with my extra space. Let's talk about some sets that got made in February. So this was already made. It's a cowl that I made, I believe, in December. And I had some of this yarn left. So I just made a hat to go with. I had both of the yarns left. This is Premier Anti-Pilling in the colorway Beach that I had found on sale at Dollarama here in Canada, probably about 3 or 4 summers ago. And I just made a nice half double crochet beanie to go with the half double crochet cowl to go off to the Shoebox Charity for this coming Christmas. Super warm because held double, and the yarn's really pretty, I'm sure you can see, with a little bit of the fur, the hygge fur, to just give it a little something something. This is another one I already had done. There may or not been a clip of this, but just quickly, here is the beautiful mandala cake, and it's a nice drapey granny stitch triangle scarf. Whee! And I took a color that's sort of in here, not exact, but close enough. Also goes really well because it's got a little bling. Not sure how much that will show on the camera. This is Mary Maxim sparkle yarn, and it has the streamers the same color as the yarn. So it's kind of subtle, but it will catch the light and it will look all sparkly. Again, I don't know what you can see. I used this little ice yarn in here, so I brought it down to the trim of the hat. This is big enough for me, so why don't I put it on? Presto changeo! There we go. So someone will be nice and cozy and warm in this set for Shoebox Charities for 2024. The sun died down a bit, so maybe it's not as super bright in here for the camera. This was the cowl I showed last month as my last finished object for January. And so we picked up from where we left off and made a beanie to go with. And I used some latte cakes and the rest of the Caron Simply Soft I had in snow camo was a scrap from previous projects, which was also in here, I believe. And basically it's the latte cake providing some of the striping, because the camo is a little bit striped, but it's more variegated. So the deep colors and stuff are coming from the latte cake. So this will be also a nice, cozy, warm, and a little bit fuzzy, in a good way, set for 2024 Shoebox Charities again. My cozy sets, that's what I said I was going to call them, right? My cozy sets. So maybe every quarter I'll give a tally as to how many sets I have ready to go off. It's really coming in handy that I have some one-offs of either a hat or either a scarf that's already made, because I can choose to match those with a hat or any kind of a neck warming device to make up sets. And I've already pulled an asymmetrical shawl and a couple of hats to make partners for in March. Then I got on a bit of a kick because of both Crystal Ricola's Crochet Corner and Rose at Rose Likes Crochet. So right around the same time, Rose was making these cool bandana cowls. So for the very first one I made, I followed the rules, and I will try to find that tutorial and link it in the description box below. For this one, I used the rest of some, well, not the rest, unfortunately. I was trying to use up scraps from the wrap I made using the mandala in the Spirit colorway, and I was holding it with some of that latte cake that has grays in and up to charcoal grays in it. And yeah, so I made this based on seeing Rose make so many of them. I think she said she's finally done her obsession with these and moving on to something else I saw on Instagram. And right around the same time, Crystal had the idea of making a poncho with this style of collar as well. So I was looking at a couple of those patterns. One thing I don't love about this one at the back is I would like the neck to be deeper. And so I haven't quite figured out how to do that yet, but I have an idea. So I'm gonna try making a couple more of these, and I will noodle that around and I will tell you next time if it's successful. But I think this is so super pretty, right? And I will, oh, the hat. And here's the hat that I made. It's just a regular beanie style hat. I'm trying to be very mindful of making some of the hats in different sizes because my head is a lot bigger than some people's heads are. So this is smaller, it will not fit me. Just basic double crochet beanie in a spiral with a nice, this same yarns are held doubles. This is the Mandala with the latte cakes to keep someone nice and cozy. So this one was, both pieces were made in February. For these double sets, I'm using either an 8 or a 9mm hook because I'm holding 2 yarns together. I want it to be warm, but I also don't want it to be stiff. So whatever hook is working best for me at the time I'm using. And then I got the idea of trying one. Crystal was doing more of a poncho, like I said. So I got the idea of trying one that has the back and the front covered, but I didn't watch a tutorial, and I should have, because I don't think my stitch count was too good for the granny stitch for some reason. It should have been, but it wasn't. So we won't talk too much about that because I'm going to actually pay attention and fix that for the next one I do. I then modified the stitches myself, and this hasn't gone in the dryer yet, as you can see. So once it goes in the dryer, it'll lay nice and flat. I'm not too worried about it at all. These were 2 different Hobby Lobby yarns, soft and sleek yarns. Obviously the one with the color was much more striped, but even the one that has all this Aran in it, this is actually part of it. So it was also sort of striped. This was part of some yarn I got from Crystal in my 12 days. So it's probably fairly old in terms of being from Hobby Lobby. And it has that nice ribbing here as well, but it will come down in the front and the back. And I was just using some Bernat Premium in a sparkle Aran, like a cream colored yarn with a gold sparkle in it, to give it a little bit of something at the top and the bottom, and to make sure that I would have enough yarn to do a hat and a cowl with those 2 skeins. I figured it'd need a little bit of help. So because the granny stitch is represented in this part of the cowl, I just did the same thing with the hat. So I started with like a solid brim, and then I just came down into the granny stitch when it was pretty much the size it needed to be, and finished with some post stitches on the bottom. Was just a little bit strategic about where I was putting the yarn so that it would have a sense of it goes together without having to be too matchy. So I think this will be good. It will look much nicer once it goes for a little fake blocking, as I like to call it, when I put things in the dryer to just loosen them up. And I'm probably being a lot more critical about it than whoever receives it will be. Anyway, I like the idea of the front part of your neck, but also the back of your neck being a little bit covered for winter. It gets quite cold here, so I think that's probably best. But I'm not opposed to working with that other style and just having the neck come down a little bit. And I think I figured out how I can make that happen before I work on that pretty little ribbing at the top. So I will try that on the sets I'm going to work on in March. And in the meantime, this is another full set from February. This soft and sleek yarn is right up my alley. There's a few yarns I really like the feel of when I'm working with them. Karen Big Cakes is one, and this soft and sleek is similar. It's not overly soft. It provides such nice stitch definition. And I mean, it will get nice and soft once it goes in the dryer for sure. But there's just certain yarns that are, I don't know, I just like the way that they feel. And I think we all have those yarns, but they're different yarns, which I think makes it really, really cool, because you might like a completely different yarn than I do that way. But I enjoyed working with that a lot. In terms of what it's most similar to in Canada is probably something like a Bernat Super Value Stripes or a Bernat Premium Stripes, those ones, as opposed to their solid counterparts, which are completely different yarns, have this sort of smooth texture. Some of them in the past, they would call them big stripes, and they'd put them in cakes that had that similar feel to it as well. But Anyway, just a little obsession about the feel of different yarns and what makes me really enjoy working with them. Of course it's being used. Oh, before I go any further, did you see that we have a new friend with us today? I had to put a tiny little bit of paper painter's tape on my little journal there just to make sure he didn't go flying, but Lori from Lori's Hooks came to visit me, and it was great to hang out with her. And look what she brought me, one of her gnomes. Isn't that amazing? Look at those stitches. I could never. And it's tiny, tiny yarn and a tiny, tiny hook, and that is a gorgeous little Valentine's Day gnome. So he's gonna hang out with the rest of my critters here when I crochet. When I crochet, yes, but when I record as well. I have to have a better setup for my stuff here. It's quite crazy getting it all put together, and I'm talking about hubby to help me figure it out, and we're gonna work on it, but we haven't got that far yet. But I like having these little guys around. It is very motivating. I have another blanket finished. I will pop up a picture of this at the very end because we're almost there. There's a clip first though, have a look.
Hey everyone, today is Sunday, February the 18th, and I am working on a C2C blanket for Project Linus in these colors. I made myself a little pattern, and I actually even crocheted off this much brown to keep, thinking I might run out, but then I found a little bit more, so I don't think that's going to be an issue, but I literally just started the blanket twice. So I've got lots more yarn. So this is, I believe, a partial skein. So this is going to be going in completely. And then I plan to do this pattern again. And by that point, I should be decreasing and going back the other way. All right, so I just thought I'd give you an update so I didn't forget to tell you what I was doing with this blanket. It is all being done with a 7mm hook, and even though this one is considered a 5 bulky, they all seem very similar together in terms of their thickness. Some of them feel a little thicker, some of them feel a little denser, but it's all working out really nicely together. And hopefully it will keep someone very warm. Okay, back to our regularly scheduled programming.
So I thought these colors went really well together. I think I mentioned, but we'll just say it again to be sure. The green is a Cairn 1 pound, and it is the old style, so super dense and works up a little thicker than most. And then the brown is some Millens from Lens Mills, and it feels, or it looks like it's the same thickness, but it's softer. So it just, it's not as dense. It's not going to provide as much, I don't know, thickness to the project, or lack of drape, opposite of drape. And then this cool yarn from Loops and Threads, Barcelona yarn, that's probably, I don't even think they make Barcelona anymore. It's very much like a puzzle yarn. So putting that 5 weight with those 2 4 weights was no trouble whatsoever, especially the green with that one. And yeah, I thought it was a cool idea to, because I wasn't really sure how big this was gonna get, and I wasn't really sure how much brown I had. To just crochet this beginning section twice so that I could end it the way I began it. I knew I wasn't going to run out of green because I had a whole pound of that, but it worked out. So I'll do the disappearing trick and let you see what's done. This is still a whip. I got to put a border on this still, and there's ends everywhere. I think I did about 1/3 to half of the ends so far, but I will disappear. There we go. All the way up. Right to there. There's my ends. And I have put the initial chain round, block stitch border, modern granny stitch border. So I put the initial on with the Loops and Threads yarn, and I'm going to go to brown next. And I think after the brown, I will try and use up the Loops and Threads. I'm not sure if I can make it all the way around with the Loops and Threads, and then I'll go back to the green. So it will get a little bit bigger, but I think it's measuring right on 40 by about 70 right now. So hopefully it is anyway, because that's the size they like for teen. And I know that the lady was saying that they struggle most to get the teen size blankets. So that's the ones I'm trying to gear towards. And yeah, so 2 for February, which isn't bad, or almost 2 for February. But yeah, there's no real need to show you guys this again. I can just pop up a picture with the border completed sometime in next month's video. This blanket, the entire thing, I used a 7mm hook, and it will keep someone nice and cozy when they receive it. This is a very old poncho I made using a tutorial from Jada and Stitches I probably made this in 2018. It's probably one of the first ponchos I made. So I just threw it on today to keep warm. The weather's been all over the place here. Ontario, Canada. It was like, I don't know, 12, 13 degrees Tuesday into Wednesday. But like Wednesday during the day, it dropped from like a high of 12, we'll just say, to down to like -5 in a couple hours. So it's like, I was even saying to hubby the other day, we left and it was spring and we came home and it was winter. So it is supposed to get warmer again. And we've been super lucky with how it's been falling, because like in terms of the days that it's been really warm, we've had a lot of rain. So if it had been on the days where it was cold, that would have all been snow. So we've been very lucky, and it seems like spring really wants to be here. The animals and even the trees seem a little confused, like they want it to be starting to be spring. So I hope it sticks, because I don't like when it's all over the place like that. I feel bad for the little outdoor friends. Anyway, I am looking forward to March and sort of a clean slate. I always like to feel like my projects are wrapped up and I can start fresh. And like I said, I already have a few things in mind in terms of being able to keep up with the sets. I don't really have anything super exciting, different planned. And I don't really have a need for anything like that. Not for a while anyway. A girlfriend of mine is having a big birthday in July. So I am gonna noodle around something different to make for that, because she's already a real fan of crochet items, so she has quite a few things already, but I'd like to make her something for her birthday. But other than that, I really don't have any plans. I have been noodling around with the idea of making another mandala for my Lazy Susan. Someone was noticing that there's usually one on there, but when I was doing a clip for my previous video, someone noticed that there was a mandala on there, and I just do those freeform. You can do whatever you want as long as you do flat circle increases, not beanie style circle increases. And I think there's a really thin Hobby Lobby yarn that I was gifted as a cake that I might try and tackle. I get frustrated by how slow the process is with tiny yarns, but I also feel like some of the thicker cotton for coasters and even my mandala for my Lazy Susans, they don't hold up as well when they're just kitchen cotton, getting washed and dried. They get a little ratty. They're great for kitchen stuff because it doesn't matter how ratty they get, but for stuff that's out on the table, I would like it to look nicer longer. So I may try that really skinny yarn, try and motivate myself to use it. And when Lori came to visit, we also did a yarn swap. So there's some really pretty yarns in there, and I may gravitate towards one of those to make at least one cozy set in March. Whenever you feel like you've forgotten something, you've most likely forgotten something. I was just starting to pack up my stuff, and I saw this little guy here. So when I made my mom's sweater, I told you guys that I had made a swatch, and I was gonna wash and dry it a few times to see if this Caron Colorama Halo held up any better than latte cakes, and I think it does. This has been washed and dried 3 times. So, and I've also been like just keeping it here on the couch, and it's been getting lots of this. And I made my mom a latte cake blanket held with skinny cakes, and after the second wash, it got all that look of being matted. And I mean, they're not the same. So this doesn't have as much fuzz, I don't feel, as latte does, but it also keeps that look after being laundered at least 3 times, because this went in and into the wash and the dryer with regular laundry. It was in a laundry bag though, and that's how it came out. So I have told her to go ahead and wash her sweater and wash and wear her sweater, and let's see what happens, because that's good news as far as I'm concerned, because it just looks a little bit strange when you get the latte cake version and it's all matted looking, right? Anyway, sorry I forgot. I'm having one of those days, I guess, because I forgot something else. When Lori was here, she also brought me this yarn ball tape measure. Isn't it cute? It's so adorable. So
So I'm keeping it with my stuff to motivate me. And I love having it. And I loved meeting Lori. And hopefully we can get together soon and actually crochet, because we were chatting so much we forgot to crochet. But she lives nice and close, so that will be great to have an in-person crochet friend. Okay, for real, I'm done now. See you guys in March.
Anyway, guys, I think that's it for today. I hope you're all doing well. It was a nice and short one for once. And if you guys have any questions at all, or just want to chat and let me know what you've been crocheting, feel free to hit me up in the comment section of this video or on Instagram at Chelle Crochet, and we will talk all the crochet goodness if you do. Bye, friends. Have a great day and happy crochet.